So looking back at some comments from Ian Holloway, Finley Munroe was a popular player at Swindon, and obviously that contributed to maybe a bit of frustration when he got recalled by Villa in January. So yeah, how was his short spell?
He was a fabulous player at League Two level. He was too good for League Two, fundamentally, and it made sense for him to go, to be able to move on. I think that the frustration that Holloway showed was because he was so integral to the left-hand side of the team, and he found it very difficult to replace him. Ultimately, he played in two or three different positions and required two or three different players to replace him for a team in League Two. And he deserves a chance to play higher. I think there'll be some frustration that he didn't get more of a go at Middlesbrough towards the end of last season, but it makes sense for him to pop up a division. I fully expect him to be just as influential at his current level as he was last year. He's got a fabulous left foot. He's an aggressive runner. He's good in recovery. He's really good in the air. He's got good possessional sense. He's on course to have a very good career in the top two tiers of the English game over time, and I look forward to seeing what he does up at Blackpool. I think he's got a lot to bring them. The Holloway's frustration was based entirely on the fact that he was so important to that side, and he was effectively irreplaceable for a League Two team. Realistically, you could use him as a standard left back, as a sort of up and down left back. You could use him as a left wing back. He'd probably do a job as a left winger as well, and he could do a job as a left back in a central three. If ever plays that. I'm not obviously very familiar with the way that the Blackpool play, but he's got tremendous versatility, and he's got a lot of different attributes both in the air and on the ground. He's got a wicked left foot from a set piece, so whether it's a deep free kick, or whether it is getting to the byline and getting the ball across, or if it's cutting inside, and he hit an absolutely stunning winner in injury time off his right foot against Tranmere last year, which went pinging straight into the top corner. So he's got it on both sides at times as well. So you just got a flexible, humble, hard-working and very talented footballer on your hands, and make the most of it, because there's every chance that he'll have to go back to Middlesbrough in January. So the old rule is don't fall in love with a lone player. It's very easy to fall in love with Finley Munroe.
Yeah, I was going to say that Blackpool had Danny Imray last year, who was a similar story. Was if players can be too good when they're on loan and they end up going back to the parent club and going elsewhere. How soon did you sort of think, yeah, we're not going to keep Finley for the whole season?
Swindon were actually relatively hopeful, because if he had had a contract extension at Villa, then it's highly likely he would have spent the whole season, that he wouldn't have, because Swindon were challenging for automatic promotion at the turn of the year. He was in a winning team. He was playing every week. That's exactly the sort of progress you'd want for a development player. But as soon as it became evident that he was not going to get a contract extension, that Villa would look to cash in on him. At that point, Swindon were obviously had to realise that they were going to lose him. So it was interesting, because there was always the fan expectation that he was going to go, but internally at the club they were always just expecting Villa to renew his contract so that then he would remain. But in sort of late December, early January, it became clear that he wasn't going to get a new deal, and at that point Villa would want to get the money, and they had to sort of act quickly. But it was very much internally they were not necessarily ready for him to go.
And just finally, obviously, we spoke about Holloway's frustration and how much he liked him. Do you think there might have been some sort of conversation behind the scenes between them two? Obviously, Holloway's connections with Blackpool and his connection with Ian Evatt as well.
I'm sure that there will have been some sort of conversation. I'm pretty certain that Swindon had a little quiet word earlier in the summer to see whether he could come back this year. That was never going to be possible. He was always going to need to go up a division. But yeah, I'm sure that given their previous relationship, there'll have been a bit of a chat, and Evatt will only have had high praise about him from Holloway, because Holloway really did become borderline like infatuated with the guy, and for good reason. He produced for him pretty much every week. He was a 7 out of 10 or more pretty much every week, and when you've got that sort of consistency and quality, then there's a good reason to fall in love with a player. But yeah, he'll have had very, very good, very glowing references. I hope for your sake, all up at Blackpool, that he gets to play for the whole season, because you're in for a real treat.